Hello world, it's Sammy Kings, and I'm super excited back again recording. Now in today's video, we're going to be talking on my personal self. Now I'm going to be exposing you to the mistakes that I've made, though they were not intentional. But then again, these mistakes actually cost me a whole lot. And looking back, I realized that I would have done this and I would have not done that. And they kind of contributed to how productive I I am at work and all that. So I am really doing this to kind of show you all my own mistakes with the intention that you don't get to make these mistakes. All right. So this is just me showing you through all the stuff that I should have done that I didn't do while on active development. All right, see you guys right after the intro. I'm super excited. All right, guys, welcome back. I am super excited. So today we're going to be talking on my 5 cost-intensive mistakes. Now, they are cost-intensive because they really cost me a whole lot. Like a whole lot of time was being wasted. A whole lot of things were done wrong, and I realized that I would have done this, but due to some reasons, and I just technically ignored them, and then I kind of now see the reasons why this concept or these things, they are actually necessary, or they are actually taught so that would be or upcoming engineers or developers will actually practice them, because really they are actually best practice. I'm talking to you as one of those people that didn't do it and then saw the results the hard way. Okay, so let's go. All right, so just a quick summary. Like I said, this is my honest reflection on, like, it's my own mistakes that I made. So I am basically talking to you from my own experience, not from something that I have not actually done, or not from something that I saw from another person. I'm talking to you based on my own experience. Now, again, the whole idea about this is to give you all like an overview of on things you should look out to, because lately I realized that okay, a whole lot of people, they are now applying to jobs, and then they are looking for gigs and all that. So this video really is for you, because this will really impact your productivity, and they also help you avoid some financial pitfalls. Yeah, it's very important also. Okay, so let's quickly jump on it. So mistake number 1 is not following TDD. Now, what is TDD? Now, TDD is test-driven development. Now, what is the whole idea of TDD? Now, TDD is it's you writing your test before you actually start the development. Yeah, and if you really look through on the concept of TDD, you realize that they follow the concept of the RGF principle, meaning R for red, G for green, and RGR, yeah, red, R for red, G for green, and the last R for refactor. And what is the red there signifying? Now, the red there, it's you writing your test first and making sure all of them fail. Then the G there, it's now you writing the most minimalistic or bare bones code that will make those tests pass. And then the last R there is refactoring. Now, why did I not follow TDD? Okay, the reason why I didn't actually follow TDD was lack of, to me then I felt it was lack of time. I felt it was not important, it was time wasting, due to the fact that then I was on my final year in school, so I had exams, I had projects, and then I now had the opportunity of handling like 2 gigs at the same time. So there was really a lot on my plate, and then going to just go write some tests, and then well, like, nah, that's waste of time, of which I actually regretted. I am here regretting it, that I would have actually taken that time to actually just do it. Now what I did then was, instead of me to write those tests and all that, I just on my notepad, on my personal handheld notepad, I just write on it, make a new page for each project, and then whatever I'm going to be doing on a particular project or a particular gig, let's say I want to add a feature to the backend, API that would do A, B, and C. Now on those, because I am much more active at night coding, so during the day I will just write out those things I would need to do, and then kind of look at the possible ways in which those code would go wrong. So that was kind of adding my test indirectly to the code, not like writing a test before writing the code. So now when I get back home, or when I grab my laptop to kind of code, then I would just code it out, right, using those tests in mind. And now it was cool because it made the work much more faster and all that. But then I realized that making changes becomes very difficult, because this is what I mean. Now when I was doing that, for me to now come back to make changes and all that, I will have to go and rerun all the entire application again, especially when the application now got much more bigger, and then the clients now placed me in charge of the entire project. So I was now and then I had other front-end engineers to working on the same project, so I would really have to, and there was a whole lot of stuff. So I realized I was always going back and forth, because the new feature I would add to it, or the new code I would write to it, I would have to go and rerun everything from start to finish, which is really pain. But if there was a test case already existing, I just need to write the new code. I write the test for that particular code, and then I am 100% sure that code will not break the existing one, and will also match what I really want to do, which is my mistake number one. Mistake number two is kind of still tied to mistake number one, which is writing test. Now I decided not to, because again I thought it was time wasting, of which I actually regretted it in the long run, as the application got much more bigger, and then other people joined the team. So it was really painful that I had to, at some point, entirely talk to the client and tell them person that, okay, I would really love like a week to kind of look at the whole application and then do some analysis on it. What I was actually doing was to take that whole week in writing all my test cases, right from the very first line down to where it was at that time, because I realized if I add a new feature to it, somehow I kind of will break the existing one, and the existing one is already being used by the front end people, and then they'll be like, okay, this part is breaking, and then I realized, oh shit, I was the one that actually do this unknowingly, some stuff like so. It was really painful back and forth, like, and they will actually waste of time in development. So I was like, nah, I would not want anybody to also make this kind of mistake. So going on to the next one is not writing documentation. Now I'm not a big fan of writing, however I am actually now consciously teaching myself how to write documentation. Now, documentation is very, very easy because you might be handling a project as a freelancer, but then quickly, if not even though that particular project doesn't grow or doesn't expand, but then there will be need for you to write instructions for your future self, because sometimes you are the one that wrote a particular block of or a particular code, and then next minute you're asking yourself, how did I come about this? What is this actually doing? So I didn't really take documentation really serious. In fact, I didn't actually write any documentation. The only thing I was doing was that, okay, for each module there is a doc string for each module, and then for each function there is a doc string for each function. And it's already like a culture for me anyways, that any module I always start it with a documentation that describes what that module will be doing. And then if I'm starting a function or I am starting a class, I know that I will also write a doc string for that particular class or that particular function. That was just it for me. However, it is still important that you write custom documentation. Like, it is very, very important, because they have a way of making your life in the future much more easier. And then if somebody were to jump on your project to kind of enhance the feature, or you are now going to work in a team, it makes collaboration much more easier. So a documentation is something that someone can just read and then have a good idea about what your entire application is about, and just kind of quickly feel comfortable without them always coming to ask you questions that, where would I do this, how will I do that, and all that. So it's really, really helpful that we actually write those documentation. Now, the next one here is over engineering solutions. Now, I am a big fan, or this is one of my I don't know how to put it, but really it's something that I am now consciously telling myself not to overdo, because I'm kind of person that, okay, before I even write any function, I temporarily write them on my code book. I have a code book too, which is separate. I write them on my code book, and then I kind of like tell myself, or critically look at the entire function and make sure that I am as explicit as possible. I am using the simplest way in getting my the solution, or in getting the intended output. I'm also looking at the performance. So there's a whole lot of thinking that I will just be doing, that though they are necessary, but to some point I am just overdoing it. And I might sit down, I might have written the function, I might have created the module, but I would not still integrate it to the application. I will still be looking at it and still be looking at, okay, what of this? Am I considering this? So those things, they are kind of eating on my development time and on my own productivity. And I would say a good solution is, once you just think about it, it is good for you to think about the possible ways in which you could enhance your code and to make it much more readable, much more simpler, much more professional and all that, but don't overdo it. So this is an advice to myself as well as you all. Now, the last one here is inadequate rest. Like, having quality rest is something that I cannot overemphasize, because when you rest, it's a way of you refreshing yourself, both mentally and physically. Now, back then I was literally not having enough rest, because I was like juggling different roles and different activities. So sometimes, like in a day, I could sleep like 3 hours, sometimes 4, sometimes 2 hours 30 minutes. I was always up and running, and then I realized that slowly I was actually burning out. And then when I decided to start enforcing that, okay, at least I'm getting quality rest, when I noticed that, okay, this is really getting choked up. Instead of me continue pushing, I will just take time out to just go relax and to just have good rest. And then I notice that anytime I do something like that, I'm always coming back with more ideas, being much more productive. Because when you are burned out, really your productivity decreases. No jokes, your productivity decreases. So I've looked at it and say, okay, so anytime I'm feeling too stressed and all that, I just leave it, just go rest or do some stuff that kind of cool my nerves. And then often, anytime I come back to that same challenge or that same problem, I always come back with solutions. Like, it just comes in. All right, so those are my mistakes. Thank you guys for watching and sticking true to the end. Now, if you do want some support or you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me via email, which is hellosami@sammykings.com, or you could actually search on social media, either Twitter, either Instagram, although I'm not active on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, with the name Sammy Kings, and then I will definitely respond to your queries. Thank you guys for staying true to the end. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, if you are new to the channel, do subscribe and turn on the post notification bell. And with that, I say bye bye from here.